Hmm, there we go. See if I can change the screen so I can see everybody better. There they are. All right. So welcome to everybody. A couple of those sneaky AI things tried to wander their way into our call, so I've politely asked them to go away. So no, just because we've had a sort of an agreement with our participants to not do that as much as they can be handy. So yeah. So welcome. And Helen, good to see you. You were a star of LinkedIn today, and all the congratulations for your achievement. So that was good.
Thank you. Thanks for walking me through the way and your support.
You're
Hello,
welcome.
everyone.
All right. So my name's David. Karen is our wonderful host for those of you who are new. We have a couple of new people, I think. Um, so we've been doing these for nearly by come December, it will be 5 years we've done these. And over the last few months, the spirits kept saying that it was time to let these go in their current form, because I feel like something else is being asked to be born. And so I was sort of sitting with that today. So every month, faithfully, I would make these really cool slides. And um, I was telling Karen I'm in this middle of this existential conversation with my nearly 92-year-old mother about what to do with my two Trump voting brothers when I go visit. And so it's a really interesting space to be in. And I thought it was a great then invitation for me to think about the BCE. So for the first time in 4 years and 9 months, we don't have any slides. We're going to live on the edge with no slides.
They're just dropping off like flies, David.
I know. I can
You're
see
gonna
they're
have
all
to find
fleeing.
some.
It actually came only for the slides. No, but I thought I was thinking last week about today and kind of what was on my mind, um, and I think in the original scheme we were going to talk about attachment theory, but actually I thought in the end we are, but we're not going to call it attachment theory. And so what we're going to do is I just want to check in with you in a few moments, but just kind of give you a little bit of orientation for those of you who are new to us. The whole purpose of the sessions is to create an experience of what might exist beyond coaching as we know it. And tonight will be a great example of that because most of these sessions are guided meditations and talks from me, and then work in small groups. And um, one of the things that was sitting with me this last week is this dilemma with my family of origin, and I just sort of sat and realized there was this void in me that I was trying to all the nearly 70 years with my family of origin, and then just sitting with the complexities of it all, and the world we live in right now. And I felt like a lot of the things that we used to rely on for structure are either being threatened or under duress or overloaded, and I thought one of the things I think will become increasingly important is the ability to sit with the void, to sit with the not knowing or not certainty. And so I thought I would give us a practice in that. And one of the things that people that are securely attached can do well most of the time is to self-regulate. And we live in a time when self-regulation is almost a full-time job. And so I thought I wanted just to support us all to go on this little adventure to check in with ourself as a way to deepen our own inner access and our inner resources in a way that's going to be I think, increasingly meaningful and useful to us. Um, but before we dive in, I just want to see if there's anything that you would like to check in with, anything that's on your mind or your heart, anything that feels important to you. If you're new here, we'd love to hear what brought you here. And um, yeah. Yes, Ellen. And then I'll come. Yeah.
I'm just delighted to hear what you're proposing because I know last night um, I stopped reading the paper in the morning, so I read it at 5 o'clock, and I was so completely overwhelmed. And what I had to do was to sit and meditate. Like I can't do anything about any of this.
Uh-huh.
I have to start from a place of peace inside of myself,
Mm,
and I have to work to get there
yeah.
with all the emotion about everything.
Yeah. Thank you, Ellen. And I will mispronounce your name again. Is it Swanti? Swanti?
It's fun here, thank you. I'm new here. I'm in Australia, so this is always a little bit an inconvenient time, but I just
Yes.
couldn't sleep, so I thought I might as well get up and join you. So it's lovely to be here. I I work a lot with young people and families. I work mainly with neurodivergent people, and I've still
Mm,
got two neurodivergent children at home. And so when I talk to parents who obviously pay for coaching, they always want to know what's wrong with their kid and, why aren't they functioning and whatever. And I always try and explain to them, um, like, cast your mind back to the time when you grew up, like the parents are in their mid 40s, 50s. We had, or my parents had a degree of, yeah, they had job security. I grew up with believing the world, the environment would still be okay. There was acid rain when I grew up. That was really
oh,
scary.
yeah.
But I mean, the instability that the younger generation is born into is something I deal with absolutely every day.
Mm,
And I just wanted to say it really resonates with me. I feel I'm a fairly well-regulated person, but it is almost a full-time job to
yeah.
keep that. And then on top of that, you work, or you
Yes.
clean your house, you buy the groceries and do all the other stuff. But we've got to make a lot of space for just regulating. And so I'm very grateful to be here and
Yeah.
share that with you. Thank you.
Mm. So thank you. Um, I'm in the middle of the first of the two tomes that Ian McGilchrist has put out on the brain. And I read today a chapter on autism, but one of his premises is the ways in which our mental status reflects our contextual status. And one of the pieces around things in the autism spectrum, etc., is often a suppression of the right hemisphere and the hyper left hemisphere orientation, and which then is a perfect reflection of the kind of wacky world that we've created. Um, and so for me, I just feel like this whole notion of the void. So I just feel like there's this emptiness in the world right now, and there's a lot of angst and hunger and anxiety and that, to your point, Ellen, it's so easy to bring that into ourself. And how do we manage this dynamic relationship we have with others and our environment? And so part of that is learning to find, to me anyways, deeper spaces in ourself. And there's 1,000 paths to get there. So I'm not here in any way, shape, or form to tell you there's one. But I want to invite you into a journey to see if you might find some things that will be helpful to you. Is there anybody else who would like to? Oh, yes, Chris, sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank you, David. Thank you, everyone. I am here because one thing I'm really sensing and leaning into now is that this is a time for me of distillation. Just think of that metaphor that starts with a beautiful bit of fine wine and then distills it to an excellent brandy.
Hmm.
And part of that then in practice for me has been, we need real connections and relationships, not 5,000 first level connections in LinkedIn. So I'm engaged in a process of distillation and focus to find the pockets of people, to find the islands of sanity where we will truly connect with each other and will form the bonds of mutual regulation that can support self-regulation and be there for others in their stresses and strains for their own regulatory space.
Yeah.
And so maybe this is what resistance looks like.
Yeah. Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to share before we start? Okay. So what I'm gonna do, just and I'll alert you to this, Karen. So we're just gonna I'm gonna take you on a guided meditation for probably about 10 minutes. And then when you come out of the meditation, we'll ask you just to be quiet for a minute. Um, were you raising your hand, Lenny? Yes. I'm not sure what you mean by
Yeah.
5.
Just a
Okay.
quick one.
Please,
I
sure.
was raising my hand,
Got it.
not saying 5, but that too. It's a high 5 because this topic is so incredibly synchronistically magnetic for me. I wonder if part of this conversation might be about addressing this notion of helplessness, sort of the opposite of attachment, right?
Mhm.
Because recently, I'm not sure who it was that was talking about being in a phase of distillation. I've been exploring my assumptions about a lot of things
Mhm.
that I didn't know I had. And one of them is that there's really nothing I can do to save the world. And letting go of that as I think what you call a burden.
Mhm.
And, you know, intellectually, I know that it's not mine to carry, but I do feel as a human being and just the kind of values that I hold that there must be something I can do to contribute to at least a better direction and not just hide like people did in Nazi Germany or whatever, you know? So, you know, I've been sort of collecting possible things that people can do and
Okay.
not feel helpless.
Okay.
And that's another aspect of the self-regulation, at least for me.
Yeah.
It's mostly how do I stay calm and present and peaceful, blah, 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 and go about my life. But it's
Yeah.
also how do I know what it is for me to do?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think, Chris, your choice of words is really fortuitous, and it's a time when excess is not going to be helpful, and so I'm hoping that through this, and it does connect to attachment theory because one of the surest ways to determine your attachment orientation is to watch it, what happens, what do you instinctively do when you feel helpless? And and so I think there's invitation through the meditation to sort of notice that and see if there's any choices you want to make. Is it mate, or did I get close enough?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
Thanks. So I just wanted to share that what it came to me during this time is that the problem is not so much being detached, but the process of getting detached. So sitting with the process while something we had, security, is not there. But when we sit with that, when that process of losing that security stops and we are sitting with a void, I don't think that's the issue, because then it's gone. In so many societies, so many times we are used to not being in control or being powerless, and that's okay. It's the process of having something and losing it, that transition,
Oh,
that may feel uncomfortable. And I just wanted to share that reflection.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Karen, when we're done with the meditation, like I said, we'll invite people to just be quiet for a minute, just to gather their thoughts, come back to the room, take any notes, whatever you need to be doing. If you want to do this with your camera off, you're welcome to do that. The timer will still be going. And then when we come back, we'll give them 30 minutes in a breakout room of around 3. Okay.
Okay, and you want to cue me when that silent time is done, or I'll just watch the room and do it?
Sure.
Yes, cue me. Okay.
I'm just trying to read Lenny's comment question here.
Yes,
Oh,
Lenny.
yes. So they
Yes,
are. They
through
will
the
be
community.
available, Lenny, to the.
I'll go ahead and put a link in before you have to go. An easy way for everybody to find that. Okay.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, Karen's doing that. I'd just like to invite you to close your eyes and allow yourself to be as comfortable as possible where you're sitting. If you would like to stand, you're also welcome to do that. And as you quiet yourself, I just would like to invite you to notice your breathing. Our breathing is one of the signs about how we're doing. So what is your breathing telling you right now? And one of the ways that infants help themselves feel more secure, just as we can as adults, is using our breathing to help calm us. I'd like you to imagine that the calming you might feel through your breath is not an escape, it's not an avoidance, it's not a control. It's actually allowing yourself to be more fully present to what is here now. And it's a sign of trust in yourself. And from this place, I would like you to draw into your mind's eye what is one of your most favorite places in the world? And I would like you to imagine yourself sitting there now, or swimming there, or flying there, whatever mode you're going to be there. But allow yourself to just feel as if you're there and notice what happens. And as you're there, you might notice what is there weather and what is that like? Can you smell anything? Hmm. Do you hear something? And how does it feel to be here? What makes this place so special to you? I'd like to bring Chris's analogy into the room with us as we're in our favorite places. Just as the winemaker can't make the wine turn into brandy, I want us to allow ourselves to let go of any need to bring anything else to this space. What I'm going to invite you to do is just quiet yourself and open yourself to the emptiness that's in this space. And just keep breathing for as long as it takes until something appears. It could be a word, sound, a person, a memory, an object. But it's not something that you're conjuring up yourself. You're actually going to receive it, to be led by it. So I'm just going to be quiet now for a few minutes and just sort of lean into the emptiness of your space. And allow yourself to open yourself, to allow yourself to be surprised at what might come meet you. And when it does, I would like you just to have a silent inquiry about what it's doing there and what it's offering you. And as you do this, allow your entire body to be present to wherever you are, not just imagining it in your mind. I'd like you to feel it. have about 2 more minutes. So as we prepare to leave our spaces, I would like you just with your mind's eye to look around where you are, wherever you are in the world in your mind, and offer any gratitude for the visit and what it might have offered you. So when you're ready, I'd like you to come back to the room and to take a few minutes to arrive here and to make any notes you'd like to make for yourself. Karen, why don't you, if you want to keep writing, please do, and you can maybe join your group if you when you're ready. But Karen, if you'd be willing to open up the rooms, that would be great.
That's in the room here. It's been the topic as well.
Yeah. That was my story too. So
All of us.
Mm.
Welcome
Right.
back.
Hmm.
Mm.
So we'd just love to take some time. If you're more of a writer, you're welcome to put anything that feels important to you in the chat box. And if you'd like to speak to anything about your experience, we would welcome that as well. In terms of what emerged for you. Hmm.
And I'll offer, if it's important to you, feel free to share in the chat if that's a good medium for you.
Okay, I'll say something. It was
Yeah,
really
go.
interesting to see how our group, well, firstly, naturally flowed, even though we didn't plan it. And then there was a recurrent theme through it, which was around compassion, both for self and others, based on the sort of circumstances that we brought up. So I just found it interesting how how it came together without there being any effort to make that happen.
Well, to that point, I think I'll say thank you to Helen, who says, wants to say thanks for holding the space for us, which there was a space that offered that. Yes. Thank you, David.
I'd like to comment on how you walked us through a meditation, David, and then you threw us all into breakout rooms with no assignment or anything. And I thought that was so radical, but it led to one of the most natural conversations that I've ever had in a very long time. So I love that. No schema, no structure, just launch in. Very deeply natural conversation. But it really showcased to me how easily accessible it is to look at our past memories and see that it's very easy to enter into this world, which is ostensibly very complicated with so many distractions, seeming distractions in our life, and to find that island of peace, if you will, and how that is immediately accessible in all moments of our life.
That's so spot on. That is so spot on, because I entered this after the meditation, as we got on the call and had our initial conversation. We talked about like the complication of our current time was at the forefront of our mind, and we talked about how much energy it takes to hold that space where we can self-regulate. But the moment I entered the quietness in the meditation, I was just thinking, I'm part of infinity. And I just felt being was a radical act, being a human being and staying like that. And that is something shareable without transaction or without physical transaction. So yeah, I mean, for me, it just turned, I turned into into the mindset of my mind went into a state of abundance and left the space of scarcity in which I sort of found myself after our first sort of greeting. So yeah, what you said really resonated, Austin. It's quite easy to access if we allow ourselves. We don't have to do more. Sometimes it's just about doing less.
Yeah. I remember having this humorous conversation with one of my Australian friends because I lived there for sometimes. And she was telling me about her holiday that was coming up. And I said, well, you take a lot of holidays. And she stopped and thought that she realized that every year she was taking more and more holidays. And I said, a much easier solution is just to look at your life. What about what's happening in your life that's causing you to need so many holidays? And she burst out laughing but I feel like we're moving into a time when it's almost like we need our own like private defibrillator that we carry with us to be able to create these experiences as we go and as they arise. And we have a lot of things right now around us that are impulsive and jagged and raw and painful and a lot of other things. And if we need to kind of sculpt our space or time to be in them or to have other people be in them, I feel like having skills like the ones we're using today will become increasingly important. And that's not about running off to take a new retreat or a new program or read 10 more books. It's can I create a space in which I and or others can breathe. Stephanie.
I had a little bit of a cheat right before I came here. I was on a call that we did an exercise. First, we did a meditation that we totally relaxed. And then we spent 5 minutes, cameras off, audio off, and saying out loud, "May I be happy," for 5 minutes straight. I highly recommend it. It's 5 minutes. At the end, I was dancing, and I said, I ended up with, "I'm happy." And so it was really interesting to come into this and then, feel the energy of the whole group. Meanwhile, I'm going like, "But I'm happy." And so it's an interesting contrast for me to be able to take the energy, because I'm normally a happy person, and to not irritate people by that happiness. So, but it was, I highly, highly recommend trying "May I be happy" in the shower, and, on a walk, 5 minutes. Guaranteed it just releases so much.
Thank you. Oh, Helen, and then we'll go to Ellen.
Thanks. Hello, Ellen. We were actually in the same group. I just have to share. I come without expectation, but I think I really gained a lot. For instance, I realized what's the most important thing for me, what I'm looking for. I'm like Chris was saying, I'm kind of confused about relationship with people's interaction. I don't understand lots of things. Through the meditation, I saw, I went to a place, of course, I totally not expected. And I realized the luckily and unluckily, the purest love for me was from my cat. I was shocked. And then I understood why it was so. Yes, because the cat, it was so connected with the everything back. There's no extra information, extra thoughts, extra need, just pure love for me. And then I realized, that's the thing I have been looking for. And I didn't know that. And now with this understanding, I know, that's something really precious for me, I'm looking for. And then when I saw just like really stir on progress, and just now I'm like looking into the people around me, and I have a solution, or I have like clarity, things like that. Also, in our group, we already discussed that it was a healing process for me, which I was never expected because I never thought, aha, I needed that because I didn't know it. So I heard something I didn't even know it was needed. So thanks very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. And cheers to your cat. Ellen.
Just two surprises. One is, and this won't be a surprise to you, David, because you know me. And what happened in my meditation was that something that I'm always searching for, like striving toward, just appeared. It just came to me, which was, it felt miraculous. But then the other thing is that what I'm always hoping to do is, in the face of all the horror, which I'm feeling very deeply, that when I can't fix it. So I want to go inside myself first, with the belief that that's where peace starts. And what I experienced in my group was exactly that. That the connections were so effortless and so warm, and that was pretty amazing. Thank you.
Chris.
I want to thank the gifted storytellers, landscape artists with words. We had a remarkable experience that we could enter those spaces and we fully experienced the experiences that the others shared. Wind moving, sounds, sensations. It was a sacred co-created space that the space itself created. And so I bow and deeply thank my conversation partners who created and held and saw and witnessed and loved. And one dear friend raised the word awe in her story. There was a huge experience of awe in nature, and we were taking in awe. And then it just came to me to say, how curious that in times that feel so awful, we can still be full of awe. Then it changes what awful might mean.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. And Mate.
My meditation was very productive because it solved a problem I had. I'm teaching a yoga class on Friday and I still didn't have the intention I wanted to use. And then it came like letting go, such a beautiful meditation. And I thought, oh, I will do the balance poses like the tree pose or the half moon, where what it's difficult is to get into the pose. But once you manage to get there, you can hold forever. Just looking into that point, and that point can be like that sacred happy place we went to through the meditation. And then I thought also of the move, just doing the movement of letting go, holding something tight and letting go. And hearing Stephanie, I think she was talking about may I be happy, repeated during 5 minutes. Then I thought, well, maybe an invitation to throughout one day now, like open and released. No, and letting go and release, like such a simple thing, but we can visualize so many things we want to let go and just use our body to symbolize that.
Mm. Cool. Mm. The things I'm appreciating around reading Ian McGilchrist's new big books, just a reminder that so much of our life is determined by what we choose to pay attention to. And awfulness and awe are all present all the time. And each has its place. To notice somebody who's suffering, notice pain, notice things. So one of my little quirks is at least once a day when I'm out walking, I pick up litter because it makes me feel better. And it's my meditation. And it makes no real impact because the rest of the street might be completely a disaster. But that little space right there looks beautiful for a little while. And I think part of this whole session for me is really around helping us resource ourselves so whatever we encounter, we can be in it without a need to change it, although we might by being there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Aaron, is there anything that you'd like to add?
I'm really struck. I read Helen's comment earlier about the space and creating this, and Chris's comment about the space created itself. And you and I were talking about context.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that each person in this room, when they went within and then came together, that had the quality of creating the space. I agree with Chris greatly on that. And when we go to that place of feeling helpless or not making an impact, that in itself is a co-creator that allows things to happen. And that's crucial. And on the breakout, David and I were talking and was saying that, we come from we were born in the same, the decades of 60s and 70s. And we're of the mindset, and I hear a lot of you saying this, that we meditate, try, as Ellen said, try to find a place of peace within ourselves in order to operate. And David commented, we have to do that on the fly now. And I think we've experienced a way to do that on the fly, and that it is more easily accessible than we imagined. Yeah. And to walk away with that is an amazing gift for ourselves and everybody we come in contact with. Yeah. So thank you for being you and showing up today. Yeah. That's all it took.
One of the things I most appreciate about backpacking and getting away from things and into the mountains is when you look up at the sky, you realize that all of the universe is present all the time, everywhere. And so when we're in moments that are difficult or painful, that's just one piece of it. It doesn't mean that we overshadow it by some kind of cosmic thought, but just realize we can accordion time and space in ways that allow us to remain present. Yeah. I had a friend the other day, in amidst of frustration for himself and probably a little bit with me, he was really struggling to self-regulate. So he said things he later regretted. If I had stayed present only in that moment, it would have been really difficult and would not have had a good outcome for him. But I was able to kind of stand back and see the bigger picture of how I know him, knowing what he's going through, trying to see the bigger picture, holding the pain we were feeling in this difficult conversation, but also not being trapped there either. And so I think that this ability to kind of move in and out of space and time, and be able to create these spaces for each other as they arise, I think is an extraordinary gift that we bring to ourselves and to others. Yes, Helen.
I would like to ask a question here because I don't know how I know nobody can answer this for me, but I really don't understand why we human need so little to be able to live a good, happy, sound life, but so many of us are fighting so hard. This is a question I've been always asking myself. I don't have an answer. Which direction I should be searching for the answer for this?
Everywhere and nowhere. Yeah, I think you should just I would just ask your cat, if you can have some classes with your cat, because your cat knows.
I will do it.
I think we are creatures that inhabit, we are organisms in an environment, and our environment is at the moment, on many, many fronts, making it difficult to easily feel whole. And so we can do a lot of things around that. We can change ourselves, we can change our environment. But again, I go back to what I was saying before. I've been working on a lot these days for myself is, where am I choosing to pay attention? And because our attention, our realities get created not by the world, but by where we pay attention. Yeah. Yeah. So. Is there anybody else who feels like they want to share some before we close? Okay. All right. Well, we'll end a few minutes early, but it's just fine. 90 minutes is an arbitrary number. This feels complete. So thank you for another wonderful session. And I look forward to seeing what adventure unfolds for us next month and see where the muse takes us. So be well and take good care, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
beautiful day.
You
You
too.
too. Goodbye. Bye, Helen. Bye, Austin. Bye, Chris.